Hey parents, welcome to another episode of Teachers Gone Savage. I know y'all getting ready for y'all kids to go back to school next week and you don't have time for this, but I have to warn you about these little McNasty teachers that's out here being predators to our children. I want to report on a teacher who has been in trouble for about the last past year. Her name is Elisa McCommon, and she is a 38. Not sure if she is still married, but she was married at the time. She was a 38 married school teacher, a fourth grade elementary teacher, and she was caught having some very inappropriate relationships with at least 21 of her students. She also has allegedly, and I'm saying allegedly because this is going to trial and we have to wait for the evidence to come out, but allegedly she is or was pregnant by a 12-year-old at the time. He is now 15 years old. So, what she did was she groomed these babies. She was nice to them. She started having like a relationship outside of school with them. She would play video games and things like that with them. And then to lure them in, the video games and all that stuff, being nice to them, sending them messages and things on social media, she started sending sexual pictures of herself to them. And then she started requesting sexual activity and acts and things like that with them on social media platforms. How this teacher ended up getting caught was a tip was given, and I believe they started investigating and started finding some things that was very inappropriate. She was charged, or she was then arrested and then booked, but she got out on bail. Well, when she got out on bail, there's stipulations where you can't contact the victims, you can't do certain things. Well, she violated that, and she contacted, at least we know, the alleged child's father. Oh, this is just messed up. I don't even know what to call the baby. She allegedly called the child who is fathering her child, Lord have mercy, and they have a voicemail of her contacting him, confessing that she was then pregnant. So looks like she's been charged with either 21 or 23 indictments against her. And they are saying that her mental health is definitely going to be evaluated, which I believe it should, but she also needs to face these consequences. This is major. 21 students, and then allegedly you get pregnant by a 12-year-old. She needs to get the help that she should get, but getting off, I don't agree with it. This woman needs to spend some type of jail time, but also get the help that she needs if there's something mentally off with her. Also, her team is trying to argue the fact that at the time the boy was 13 and not 12. Reason being for that is because if he's found out to be 13 at the time, the punishment is less severe for someone being predatory on a 13-year-old than a 12-year-old. It was also said that investigators are looking into other adults who may have known about this abuse and who were giving locations and allowed inappropriate activities to go on with this teacher and her former students. So there are some other people being investigated in. So if they had something to do with it, shame on them, and yes, you should be prosecuted as well. I believe it was confirmed that McCummon was pregnant. She had appeared in court with a baby bump, but she appeared in court, I believe, in July of this year, and it appeared that she no longer had a baby bump. So even though sources haven't confirmed that she indeed gave birth, it looks like she is no longer pregnant. But again, nobody has confirmed this yet, but I'm pretty sure between the time length of her being arrested until now, it's been 9 months and she's probably given birth to the baby. So, with all the charges that is facing her, she could definitely get life in prison, which I believe if she is found guilty, she should get life in prison. I think that it's just kind of time out for this thing. When you go to that extreme to mess with children, you a whole grown woman with you're married and you're grown, 38 years old. I don't care if she was 20. She still, you can't be just violating children like that. People do not send their kids to school to be violated. We send our kids to school and we trust the people that have signed up to give them an education. They don't need the sexual education. They need the education that you were assigned to give them, like teaching them math and reading and things like that. When it goes too far and it goes overboard, we don't need that extra. And parents, I know you don't need this extra stress, but I'm only doing this video so that you can be aware of what's going on. Check your kids' Snapchats, check their phones, talk to their friends, make sure you know where they're going, who they're hanging out with. A lot of these things can really be prevented if parents, and I know because I was a single parent, we have a lot on our plate. But because times are crazy, they've been crazy, but they are really crazy now. So please just check your kids' phone, talk to their friends, be all up in their business. All this stuff about my kid needs privacy and all, this is what happens. And I'm no shade on the parents that this happened to, because I know they were doing the best that they could, and you wouldn't imagine sending your kids to school and teachers are just doing this, but they are. And some of these teachers are targeting these kids. They go to these schools and they purposely, because they have a problem, they purposely get hired onto these places so they can have easy access to these children. So parents, I know you got a lot on your plate. I know that parenting can be hard, but this is one thing that you do not need. So if you can be as involved as possible. And the sad part about this is if you hear anything, even if it's allegedly that a teacher is being inappropriate with a student or being inappropriate with your child, report that immediately. You would rather report it now than something like this come down a little bit later and your child or children or other people's children are damaged. So guys, let's just be vigilant. Let's be praying over our kids. These people are not playing. They do not care. And I'm tired of seeing this. I am going to be doing multiple stories on Teachers Gone Savage. And most of them are going to be just bringing awareness, because we all need to know what's going on in these schools, with these teachers, with these coaches. It's getting dangerous out here, y'all, but we can help prevent some of these things. We need to be vigilant with our eyes and our ears and having discernment. Anything feels weird, you need to say it. All right, I'm Regina Long with Not So Perfect Parenting.